Calix Boxing in the building. We are live. Power Punchers episode 9. I am here joined, as always, by D-Style Boxing from HCP, Hispanics Causing Pain. By the way, speaking of, check out that shirt. Check out that shirt right there.
Look at that right there.
It fits perfectly, dude. Like, it really does. Fits perfectly. It didn't shrink. None of that. It makes my guns. It accentuates my guns.
That's right.
So
That's right.
it is like being 6'3", it's tough to find a shirt that fits properly. All right. So this fits the length, and it's also not too baggy. I hate those. They're too long. They're long enough, but they're too baggy. I hate those. So good job with the shirts.
Yeah, teespring.com/D-Style Boxing. You guys can get them there. You know what I mean?
Go check it out, and go check out the first 8 episodes of Hispanics Causing Power Punchers, by the way, on Calix Boxing's YouTube page. It's all right there on the playlist. And by the way, you can catch us on iTunes too. We're in the building on iTunes. We are everywhere now. Everywhere.
Shout out to Spotify.
So we're coming off a great show. Hit that like button. Please hit that like button as you come in. If you do one thing, hit that X and then hit that like button. Shout out to Tony Boswell, who always shows love and respect. Much respect. Calix Boxing 2.0 in the chat. Stopped in to show support and hit the like button. Just got off work. Salute. That's what we were just talking about, man. It's satisfying to do a long day of work. You know, satisfying. You punch the clock, get off, get your beer, or in my case, water, and just kick back, and we talk some boxing.
That's right. It's all about boxing.
Shout out to everybody that's coming in the chat, and as always, hit the like button and sub if you haven't subbed. That too. How was your weekend, D-Style? And you know, we did a live on Saturday. We probably picked the worst fight of all time to do a live on. It did great numbers, but just imagine how great it would have been if it was a somewhat decent fight. I mean, this was one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. We'll get into that. Rigondeaux and that whole performance. But how was your fight weekend, man?
Hey, the fight weekend, I enjoyed it, man, for the most part. I mean, in a weird way, like, I don't know, I didn't enjoy it, but I kind of like found some weird satisfaction out of seeing Rigondeaux run around the ring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's like we accurately predicted what a lot of people were going to say. Like, oh, this is a masterclass performance. Right. And it's not running, it's boxing. Because how could he use the word run? He didn't really run. Like, okay, well, when I say he knocked the head off his shoulders, am I saying he literally like knocked the head off the shoulders? No. He didn't decapitate him like for real, but you know what we mean by he ran away. Like if I tell somebody, hey, you're running away from this relationship, I don't really mean the relationship's running after them and they're running away. Like, you know what we mean by that.
Right.
You know what it is. So why are we wasting our time explaining to people what we mean by that? You know, but I enjoyed the fight weekend, no doubt. We can't let that overshadow the fact that Vergil Ortiz had a hell of a breakthrough performance, and that's what that was to me.
Right, and I love he didn't cut off the ring, people. It's impossible to do that against a guy like that. And I'm going to touch on that in a minute. I want to get through our opening topics first, but we'll definitely be hitting on that because that was frustrating and pathetic performance. But we had a lot of great fights, man. There were a ton of fights, the undercard fights, just everything. It was refreshing to have that back after a lull in boxing, and then we get Pacquiao this weekend. So all is well in the boxing world these past 2 weeks. We can say that. Let's start with the historic KO of the week. Hasim Rahman knocks out Lennox Lewis in round 5. This fight was over 20 years ago. Once again, hard to believe. Like it just seems like that was last year or 5 years ago, 20 years ago. This fight happened. Yeah. The fight took place in South Africa. Lennox Lewis was a 20-1 favorite in this fight. 20-1. Unreal. This was a huge upset. People forget that. Huge upset. And Lennox Lewis would regain his title later that year by 4th round KO. So he came right back. As I dropped my notebook, he came right back and avenged that loss. And avenged it as a legendary fighter does. He's like, get me right back in there. I'm going to do the opposite. in there. I'm not getting knocked out this time. I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna knock him out earlier. He did in the 4th round. So, what's your memories of that fight? Lennox Lewis, Hasim Rahman won.
I don't remember watching the fight live at all. I just remember watching Hasim Rahman on the Jay Leno show.
Yeah.
Holding the belt or belt. I don't remember it was one belt or any belt at all, actually. But I remember him being there, and it's just, I remember Jay Leno saying, "Hey, I love Lennox Lewis, but I'm glad that the heavyweight championship world is back here in America." I remember that. I remember that show, the Best Damn Sports Show, period.
Right. On Fox Sports.
I remember them on that show. I remember Hasim Rahman talking a lot of smack and with a lot of the hosts on there. All right. And I remember some people believing that he just had Lennox's number, but I have to be honest, even back then, I kind of knew Lennox was going to beat him in the rematch, but as far as that night, great knockout. Lennox Lewis was bouncing off of the ropes with that momentum, as well as Hasim Rahman landing the haymaker from hell right on the money, right on point, knocking Lennox Lewis smooth out, although Lennox did get up, and Lennox actually did protest to the ref. People forget about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
that was, both of those were historic. And to me, it's historic that he comes right back, right? That's what great fighters do. Legendary fighters do, because Hasim Rahman, that's no slouch. He comes right back and says, "You know what? I'm coming back, get my belts, and I'm doing it with authority." Because people are so used to Lennox Lewis, the methodical fighter that breaks you down over time. He wasn't having any of that that night, as D-Style drops off, but that's all good. But Lennox was not having any of that night. He came right back. And the impressive thing, as we get D-Style back here, the impressive thing was he did it in quicker fashion than Hasim Rahman did it to him. He just went straight to it. "Give me my belts back. We're done. We're done with this." And that's what legendary fighters, that's what great fighters do. Look, you lose some, you win some. Everybody, almost everybody, 99.99999% of fighters lose a fight. Lennox lost one, and we saw the true heart of a great heavyweight, all-time great heavyweight, by coming back against another great fighter and saying, "Let me snatch those belts back from you." So that's what I remember from the whole saga. And he did it right away. There was no fights in between.
You do know that Don King didn't want that rematch, right?
Right.
Don King, and this is another reason why I felt like Lennox was going to win, because Rahman did almost everything to not take the rematch. They knew that they got away with a big miracle win. They know what they did. Now, I don't want to take away from the win, because at the end of the day, he landed a legal punch and Lennox was out for the count, right? But it was 1 in a million, bro, or 1 in like maybe 30 or some, chances of happening. And it happened, and they were trying to get away, and Lennox had to go all the way to the Supreme Court, okay, to make sure that they honored the rematch clause. Like, that definitely set a precedent about rematch clauses too. Like,
right.
That's how I knew, like, yeah, Ruiz, you're gonna fight Joshua in the rematch. There's no like I'm out, no, like you're gonna fight him, because you're either gonna sit out for a while or you're gonna fight him again. So it set a precedent for rematch clauses. That's one. Second, it showed us why there's rematch clauses. If there wasn't a rematch clause, Rahman never fights Lennox Lewis, right? And we never get that rematch ever again. Now it's a double-edged sword now, because I hate rematch clauses, right? But in this case, it was for the better. I just think a real champion should honor the rematch to the former champion, without being forced. And Rahman didn't do that. And boy, the Lennox Lewis make him pay in that rematch.
Yeah. And I bet that was one of those rare instances where the guy who lost by knockout is the favorite in the second fight. I bet you Lennox Lewis, I haven't looked it up, but I bet you he was the favorite going into that second fight, because everybody knew he meant business. He meant business going into that second fight. And quick question here by Nando. Who's had the crazier upsets, Lennox or Vladimir? I would say Lennox, because Lennox, he had him closer to his prime, right? Vladimir was early on before he got with Emmanuel Stewart. He had some ugly ones. Vladimir had some ugly losses, but he went on to have a decade plus of just straight dominance. So I felt like Lennox had some upsets that were in his prime. And of course, he avenged them, which makes him one of the great all-time heavyweights of all time. But I feel like Klitschko had some ugly losses, but they were before he was Vladimir Klitschko, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's what I would say about that. That'd be my answer. Lennox Lewis. The power puncher of the week, to me, there's no question. Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz is the power puncher of the week. Went in there and did what Vergil Ortiz does. Before I go in and talk highly about Vergil Ortiz, which I've been chomping at the bit to do, give your take on your power puncher of the week.
I have to give the power puncher of the week to Nuke. You know what I mean? That's why I need to give the power puncher of the week.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to him. Shout out to Nuke, man. Let me say this, right? Rashi Warren. I was having a blank there for a second. I couldn't remember the name, but only 4 knockouts in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Lower class fighter, so they're not known for knockouts. Period. Especially not one punch knockouts. And then you're one of the lightest punchers in the lower weight classes.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, did he have an egg weight? Because I heard that you know what I mean? Like I saw the glove. I could see the exposed, and there was no wraps. I couldn't see the wraps in the palm area. You know what I mean? Did Rashi Warren, use bricks, illegal tactics? Because where did the power come from? I mean, the power came out of nowhere, from I don't know where. You know what I mean?
Was his glove like this? Like this?
No. But remember, that was for the first fight. And the second fight was the egg weight with the right glove. You know what I mean? Like we gotta keep up. But no. Look, this shows you, just as we've been saying, right? If you sit on your punches, you're gonna generate more power, because that's where the power comes from. It doesn't come from the arms. The arm might add a little bit to it, but it doesn't come from the arms. It comes from generating it from the legs up. Boom. That's where the power comes from. Great technique by Rashi Warren. I did not expect that. Right. So I'm going to nominate him for power puncher of the week.
And by the way, hit that like button. If there's one thing you do, hit that X and then hit the like button as you come in if you want to support the channel. But what I would say, man, is yes, the KO percentage was low, but they obviously saw something on film to where he was comfortable sitting on his punches and he was throwing hooks. I mean, there weren't much jabs. There wasn't much up the middle. He was throwing straight hooks. And they saw something on film to where this guy's chin was going to be in the air and they were going to take him out. And he nuked him.
Yep.
He nuked him. So if he gets somebody there in front of him that in his next fight that he's going to have respect for his power, I don't plan on seeing the same Rashi Warren as we saw in his past fight. I think this is sort of a one-off. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that gets more exciting as his career goes on. He's in his 30s now, low KO percentage, and D-Saw dropped off again. But I don't think Rashi Warren's going to be one of those guys that has knockout after knockout after knockout after knockout. Let's see what we got. Another one, Packland in the building. Shout out to Packland. Manny Pacquiao's website, so shout out to Packland. And we'll get to Manny Pacquiao in about 10 minutes. I want to talk about Vergil Ortiz first, though. Vergil Ortiz, and we talked about this a little bit Saturday night.
Yeah.
This guy does everything, almost everything right to me. He's a future star in the making. Keeps his hands up, he'll work behind the jab. The jab, that was the thing I was most impressed with, D-Style. And I said it before the fight. In my prediction video, is he has layers to his game. He's not the caveman fighter some people try to make him out to be, just this pressure fighter who's just going to try to break you down. with overwhelming punches. He'll work behind the jab. He had points in the fight where he was a little patient. There were 1 or 2 rounds there where Mean Machine out jabbed him, but then in the very next round, without his main trainer in the ring, he fixed that. And he said, you know what? I'm going to out jab you this round. And when he did that, when he started working behind that jab, after the round he lost, I believe that's the round where he had the 4 knockdowns and ended the fight. This guy, he's an intelligent fighter. All right. People just think pressure fighter, power puncher, overwhelming punch output, and they think sort of, not dumb, but not high IQ either. All right. This guy, there's skill to what he's doing. He has layers to his game. He can go from plan A to plan B, plan C, versatile fighter. And he's a problem, and he's ready. He's ready. Look, I'm not saying he beats Terrence Crawford in the spring of 2022. That's not what I'm saying. I would favor Terrence Crawford. I would see it somewhere 75-25. I'd favor Terrence Crawford. But is there not, what other fighters at 147? You can throw out Pacquiao. Spence right now is not ready with the eye, but who else is ready for Terrence Crawford right now? You would say Vergil Ortiz, Boots Ennis. I think they're both ready. They're both ready. Especially Vergil Ortiz. His ascendance is going quicker than Boots Ennis is so far.
Look, Boots Ennis' best opponent is a dude that's not really a welterweight. So I'm not even sure how to assess that win. This is a guy that, Mikey Garcia moved up to beat. I'm just putting that out there. Lipinets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, Vergil has fought better opponents than Boots, by far. It's not even close.
Yes.
And there's a such thing as a halo effect, and you're going to look better against lesser level opposition.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things. Now, that's not saying that I don't think Boots is the truth, because my eye test isn't lying either. I know the dude's the truth. But how good, I'm not sure. I have to see him step up a little bit. Vergil's ready. Vergil's as ready as it is, bro. I kind of feel like boxing. This is what boxing fans do. I don't know why. It kind of feels like that second-year quarterback, and he's about to play in the Super Bowl, and it's like football fans wouldn't do this. Man, I'm not sure if he's ready for this game. Maybe he should sit this one out. I don't know if he's ready. Wait, what do you mean?
He's there.
He's already there. What are we waiting on? People do realize things change, right? This opportunity, which is what it is, may never come again. Right. What if Crawford just decides to retire? What if Crawford gets a career-ending injury in his next fight? What if Crawford ends up just actually doing the Spence fight after all, which will be a great win for us, but not a win for Vergil, right? Well, what if Vergil gets a pretty bad injury and he's out for another year? And you know how boxing is. What if there's another pandemic? What if you just don't know? What if somebody else beats Crawford? And he's surprised. We're like, whoa, shit! Crawford lost supporter. What the hell? I don't think that's gonna happen. What if it happens though? This is it's now.
Do it.
This is the time to do it. What are people scared of? Oh, let me guess. You don't want him to lose. So what if he loses? Let's say I said this on Uncensored. Hypothetically, let's say Crawford just puts on a clinic and takes Ortiz to school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to put a feather on top for Crawford, right? It's going to be a good win for him to have a young, hungry contender coming after him, right? But it's not the end for Ortiz. Ortiz could go back to the drawing board, and he could get better, and he'll be back. So what if you lose? What are people? Well, I know the answer to it, but they're scared of someone losing. And this just wasn't a thinking process before this Mayweather era. It just wasn't.
Canelo lost to Mayweather. Look at him now.
Canelo lost
8-9 years ago.
Now. Mancini lost to Arguello. He moved on. He said, I learned from that experience. I got
These
better
guys
as a
behind
player.
me, D-Style, the four kings.
Many of them lost early in their career.
He lost to him.
Hagler.
He
we don't even
he lost to him. They fought each other though.
No, but what I'm saying is to stay with the example of like a young contender challenging an established champion. Like there's multiple examples. Like Salvador Sanchez was the reigning featherweight champion. Azuma Nelson stepped up to the plate, right? Took the fight. You know, it was a short notice fight. And he lost the fight. But guess what? He fought Salvador Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
That is an experience that you just can't get in sparring, and you just can't buy that experience. And guess what happened? Salvador Sanchez died in a car crash shortly after that. If he doesn't take that opportunity, he never gets that learning experience or fighting a Hall of Famer like that. So if Azuma was here, right, and he got to here when he fought, you know, even in a losing effort, right, to Salvador Sanchez, that made this possible, his Hall of Fame career. It made it possible. You know what I mean? He may have gotten there, but it would have been a longer road to get to this point, guys. You know what I mean? Canelo, right? Canelo fought Floyd, but he got better out of it.
Right. Yeah.
He got better.
I agree. And not only that, if Vergil Ortiz fights him next and he has moments in the fight and still loses and it's an entertaining fight, his stock still goes up because he just fought Terrence Crawford. I mean, I think boxing fans, true boxing fans, would reward him. Okay. And I want to see that fight. I think he's ready. I don't agree that he's got a temper. You know, he might have a mean streak and a killer instinct. I didn't see a temper. I don't think he's an impatient fighter. I thought he showed some patience working behind the jab, keeping those hands up, didn't get crazy, didn't get lazy with his punches, leaving him out there. I think this guy is the complete package, and he is a bona fide, I think 100%, you know, barring injury or something. You hate to say that, but 100% future star, like superstar in his boxing world. I think he is. And right now I put him over Boots Ennis because of the competition level, right? He's fought tougher competition. His ascendance is going quicker. And I've said it multiple times. You can tell a lot about fighters by how their handlers handle him. So the fact that they're starting to handle him quicker, putting him in there with competition. Vergil Ortiz, man, he's ready. He's ready. All right. I think he's going to be a star. I think he'll be a star in this game. So
I agree.
Sometimes you give Tito versus Vargas or Rigondeaux, Trinidad, ruin both of those guys. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get fights like that where you get an eye injury. Crawford could ruin Vergil Ortiz early, but are you willing to take that risk? And that's how you become a legendary fighter, like the fighter we're going to talk about in a little while, Manny Pacquiao. You take risks. You have to take risks in order to get there. All right, you can't avoid that in order to get to great things. Like Tank Davis right now. You can't avoid top competition, not fighting a top 5 fighter in 8 years and expect real boxing heads to put you in a top 10 pound for pound list. You just can't. You can make money. You can become sort of a star, but you're not going to become that legendary guy. You're not even going to become a great fighter that way. So that's where I'm at with Vergil Ortiz. Let's do it now. My anti-power puncher of the week going the other way is Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Ooh.
Brutal. And by the way, hit that like button as y'all come in and vote on the poll. We got Pacquiao at about 84% right now, winning. And Ugas, 16% people have him pulling an upset against Manny Pacquiao. That's about where the betting odds are right now. They got Vegas has Pacquiao as a healthy favorite, minus 360. So they have him as a healthy favorite in this fight. I tend to think Pacquiao by decision. We'll talk about that in a little while. But what did you think about Guillermo Rigondeaux? What an awful, terrible, hot garbage, dumpster juice performance by Rigondeaux. Look, there's a difference between boxing and running. All right, what we saw from Rigondeaux and shout out to Nando Yamas, who took the loss worse, Rigo or G-Funky? G-Funky was kind of defending his boy Rigondeaux yesterday. Here comes the Rigondeaux hate. Look at Look, G-Funky, all I'm saying is I understand G-Funky's point that, look, we know we're going to get from Rigondeaux, so why tune in? Why continue? He's had some entertaining-ish performances, especially recently. Okay, he's had some moments where he's mixed it up. So coming into this fight, what do we say? What was the main question coming in? The main question was, is he going to be one of those older fighters that has to stay more stationary, like a Hopkins, like a Winky Wright? Were defensive minded earlier in their career, but later in their career, as their reflexes slowed down, and they were all reflex fighters and yuck it up fighters, they had to fight more. Or was he just going to yuck it up? And we got that answer right away. Right away. He yucked it up. And I see people out there saying Casimero should have cut off the ring. Dude, there was no cutting off the ring. Casimero, the three judges, the boxing fans were in an impossible situation because they were put in an impossible situation by Rigondeaux, who decided to come in and bring another sport to boxing, because that was track and field. And I made this analogy earlier on my channel when I was doing a live, is I played basketball. I have a basketball background. I played basketball against football players. And they come, and especially in adult leagues later on in life, upper 30 leagues, 40 leagues, you get in there with guys who don't know how to play basketball. And they're diving into your knees. They're hitting you in your nuts as you go up for a rebound. They don't know how to play basketball. So even as a good basketball player, it's impossible to look good against them, because they're playing a different sport. That's what Rigondeaux was doing Saturday night. That was track and field. We all saw the picture. That was what we saw from Rigondeaux for 12 rounds. And the frustrating part is when he did, and we talked about it during the live, when he did sit in the pocket, Casimero was tentative to throw, right? He was tentative to throw because Rigondeaux's reflexes were still, they were still there. He still had the reflexes. He still had the legs, even at 40 plus years old. It was still there. That's the frustrating part to me, is when you have a special talent like that in Rigondeaux, who just decides he wants to run and run and run. There was nobody that was going to be able to cut off the ring consistently against him. Nobody. Maybe we can say Casimero could have threw some jabs a little more. He only landed like 6 jabs in the whole fight, but only 91 punches were landed the whole fight. And 91 punches were landed the whole fight because you had one guy who didn't come to fight. Right? And I'm glad that
that's the astonishing part.
And they did not reward this, because you don't reward this. You don't.
That's the astonishing part. Like the astonishing part to me, okay, is that yes, those are guys that didn't want to fight. How do you make a dude that doesn't want to fight?
Right.
And look, to his credit, he's a very athletic guy. So he's running around the ring. It's hard to catch up to him. Like, but you're like, bro, like I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no example that anybody could find me of a fighter like Rigondeaux that did that, and a dude like Chavez fought that he successfully cut off the ring, caught up to him, and knocked him out. You're not gonna find it. Mm-hmm. You're gonna find me guys on their back foot. You're gonna find guys that were fighting Chavez on their back foot, but you're not gonna find me examples of dudes that were running around the fucking ring not wanting to fight. That's not what you're gonna find. Rigondeaux was making Donaire miss like crazy and dominating him. Is that an indictment on Donaire? No, it shouldn't be an indictment on Casimero either, just because, for whatever reason, Rigo can have most of the blame. Some of the blame on Casimero, sure, but most of it goes to the guy not wanting to fight. Now, to answer the question, it is true, right? If people don't want to watch him, they shouldn't watch him. I get it. Right, but why is he taking up airtime? Though I'd rather have a fight that I could watch.
Right. Well, now
I don't want don't hold my airtime of the sport I love ransom. Then, like you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. So at the end of the day, I don't know if you'll agree with this, Calix, but I'm not saying I never want to watch Rigo ever again. Okay, but I do think he needs to be matched up very, very carefully. Like, I would like to see Rigo. I would rather see him fight another counterpuncher. Someone who's not going to go after him. Uh-huh. It might be a staring contest, but it's going to be a lot. I'd rather watch a staring contest where they're throwing a few shots, trying to counter each other than this shit. Okay? Because, I'm telling you right now, this dude turned his back and ran several times. He did laps around the ring. That's what he did. And we have video evidence of it. Okay? Now, look, I even told you in the live, Kelly, look, I was even saying, like, man, I mean, he's the only one that landed 8 punch in this round. So I guess I got to give it to him, right? So I wasn't even basing on that, but I got to tell you, low key, I was kind of hoping he gave it to Rigondeaux because I wanted to see what Calyx Boxing was going to do to his home. I wanted to see what would happen because you were like threatening something like, "Oh, this better not happen." And like, and I feel like the shelves and the cupboards in your house were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! We got nothing to do with this shit."
Blood was about to start shooting from my eyes.
What was Calyx Boxing going to do to his house? If Rigo, because I'll be honest, I didn't even give a fuck who won this fight. but what were you gonna do? Like,
I cared because I wanted Rigo out of the equation if this is how he's gonna fight. I mean, you don't have a bantamweight fight where 91 punches are landed.
Well,
so give me the more exciting fighter, Casimero, against the winner of Inoue and Donaire.
Well, how about this? So those that get triggered with the word exciting, right? The one who wanted to engage. Because let me just tell you, I'll keep repeating this, and it gets people mad, but I don't give a fuck, okay? If you're holding hands with your girl, okay, and you're in the parking lot, some dude licks his lips, goes up to your girl, slaps her in the ass, and you say, "What the fuck you just do?" Roll up your sleeves and say, "Motherfucker, I'm going to fuck you up." And then you start fighting the way Rigondeaux fought. I don't even care. MMA rules, boxing rules. You're trying to avoid fighting. You start running around every time, and then he's like, "Okay, come on." Then you start running around. Well, are you gonna tell your girl, "Oh, see how fast my feet were, baby? He couldn't catch up to me." You know what I mean? He couldn't catch me. He couldn't cut off the parking lot on me. You know what I mean? I kept circling around him. He couldn't catch me. Did you see when I made a miss? Oh man, he fell into the car when I made a miss. Oh baby, I whooped his ass. So look, if you want to argue that he won the fight with a 10-point must system because there's rounds where he landed a punch and got him, okay, fine. But stop using terms like Rigo beat his ass, please. That's not what an ass beating is.
Yeah, these all I'm saying is it's impossible. They keep saying he wasn't the effective aggressor. He was the aggressor. What I'm saying is impossible to be an effective aggressor.
He's a top 5 dude in the division, bro. He's a good. Like, are you really gonna judge Casimero as a fighter because he couldn't catch up to Rigondeaux, was avoiding the fight? That's how you're gonna judge the dude? Like, that's it? Like you're good? Like, come on, bro. Like, if someone stands to fight, which Rigo tried and got knocked down, something different happens, right? You don't knock down, and that should have been knocked down, by the way. You don't knock down Rigo if you're trash. Okay? He did drop him. So you don't drop him. You don't make Rigo think twice and start running around the ring if you're trash, bro. Like, I'm not saying he's better than Inoue or Donaire, but come on, he's a top 10 fighter in the planet in that division.
Right.
So, like, you're not right when you say he's trash. I'm just going to let you know right now. So who's better? Name me 10 dudes that are better. Name me 10. Right. He's a top 10 dude in the division. He's a titleist. You want to call trash because you want to defend Rigo. That's what it is. You need to justify what Rigo did by putting some blame on Casimero.
That's my story. He's got a shot at becoming undisputed. He's now the final 3 in the division in one of the best divisions in boxing. 118 strong. It's a strong division.
There's a lot of guys he could beat. There's a lot of guys he could beat in that division.
Right.
Not Donaire in any way, but those are the 2 best in the division, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. Who's to say, like, if Rigo did this, who's to say Monster Inoue is going to, like, follow him or catch up to him? Based on what?
G-Funky's sticking with this.
Well, that's how he feels, but it's not factually based. It's emotionally based off trying to defend Rigo. That's what it is.
I agree.
I'm just saying, like you want to put some blame on the other guy, so it doesn't get too hot in the oven for Guillermo Rigondeaux. Guillermo Rigondeaux sent a check to G-Funky. I don't know how much, okay, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That pool with the neon lights doesn't pay itself. You know what I mean? I think Rigo hooked him up
with the pergola and the TV and the outdoor kitchen.
And I'm saying, I think Rigo hooked him up. Like, hey, gee, so when I run, though, just tell him I didn't run.
Well, look, I think that's clearly a run job. I'm not saying, and
I'll judge him when someone fights him. I'll judge him as a fighter.
Right. And I'm not saying Casimero doesn't deserve some blame for continuing to follow, but he was just like, there were points in the fight where he just stopped and said, what are we doing here? This isn't a fight.
I
This
do
isn't a
got to be
fight.
honest though, that there was time like this. What I will agree with. I felt he would have comfortably won this fight on all three scorecards if he just put his mitts up, kept coming at him, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think because Rigo was missing a lot of punches too, bro. I remember watching a fight
Oh, yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
He was missing lefts himself, and nobody likes to point that out though. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
They always like to point out how Rigo. When Rigo made a miss, it was like obvious, and he missed by a mile, and then he ran into the ropes like 3 times the whole fight, and they're acting like it was happening every moment of the fight, which it wasn't. You know what I mean? But that aside, yes, Casimero showing frustration didn't help matters, especially now with people that want to push the narrative that, oh, it's his fault too. Don't put all the blame on Rigo. It's all his fault. You know what I mean? So, look, a lot of people didn't like the way Klitschko fought. Okay, he would hold a lot. He would clinch on guys, lean on them. But I never saw anybody say, well, it's the guy who fought. Well, why do you do something about Klitschko clinching him all the time? Yeah. No, that's not what people say. They call out Klitschko for having a boring style, okay, to win, right? And people didn't like it. So people don't like what Rigondeaux does. They could point it out. You know what I mean? And because of this, I don't even think PBC is going to put him on TV anymore. No. And if they do, not as the main event.
No, it'll be somewhere buried in the undercard, and he might not take that little bit of money. And
I should have known he didn't want to fight, though.
He got the bigger purse than Casimero did in this fight, by the way.
But by the way, I don't even think I think we should have known because that he didn't want to fight. First of all, he didn't want to fight. That's not what he did in the ring. That's not a fight. If you want to call it a fight, go ahead. You can call it whatever you want. That's not a fist fight. That's what boxing is. I know people are like, well, it's boxing. It's not stand there and trade. Like nobody's talking about trading. Okay, nobody's saying to stand still and let them hit you. Nobody's saying that. Okay, that's number one. But it's a fist fight. That's what it is. So all I'll say is that we should have known when he took the step aside money that he don't want to fight.
True. That's facts.
Should have known.
Hard facts.
Well, why did he take step aside money if he wanted to fight so bad?
Yeah, you're right.
He took step aside money at the age of 40 when the hourglass is running out. He took the money. Now, credit to him, he took the fight after it was offered again, but he took step aside money.
Facts. I hear the facts machine. That's hard facts.
Dude turned his back and ran away from him several times in that fight.
Yeah.
And the least amount of punches landed in the history
of copy.
And he landed less than Casimero. I know the narrative is, Rigondeaux was the one landed. Like, we saw him on slow motion, bro. He landed punches on Rigondeaux. Okay, not that many. None of them landed much, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. Shout out to A-Rod in the building as well.
Bro. Like Sonic the Hedgehog. You remember that game?
Yeah.
And then like when he would get hit, like all the coins would fall out. You know what I mean?
Right. Hit that like button as y'all come in. Vote on that poll, by the way. Vote on the poll. Hit that X, then hit the like button. Make sure you hit that like button. And we're going to get into Pacquiao now. We're going straight into it now. And by the way, RunPMC is defending his Power Punchers boxing trivia diamond belt in about 25, 30 minutes. So make sure to tune in for that.
And by the way, I would favor Casimero over a lot of the guys that will move up from 115.
Yeah, I would too. I would too. I wouldn't against Inoue or Donaire, I don't believe. Definitely not Inoue. I wouldn't.
He wouldn't beat Inoue, but let me just tell you right now, man. If Inoue fought Rigondeaux right now, he would make Inoue look bad as well because he wouldn't fight.
Right.
I'm just telling you that right now. He would do the same. He would do the same shit. He would have done it with Donaire. Donaire would be missing, hitting the ropes, falling against the ropes as well. Same. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, man, that pool, hey, Rigo, I'll change my tune too. I'm just saying, I'll change my tune quick. I'm just saying, hook
Look,
it up.
I got a fun stat for you when it concerns Manny Pacquiao. For everybody in the chat, Manny Pacquiao, if he wins this fight against Ugas on Saturday night, with a win, Manny Pacquiao would join Sugar Ray Robinson and Manuel Medina as the only fighters to win a world title in the same weight class 5 times. That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yep.
And now, look, it's more belts, obviously, now, so it's easier to become a champion than when Sugar Ray Robinson fought and Medina fought. But still, it's impressive. There's a reason other fighters in this era aren't doing it, right? Right?
Yeah,
So that's an incredible stat. That's an incredible stat.
Hey, all I'll say is this: the one that sent look at the end of the day, man, a former flyweight is about to fight at age 42 for a WBA title. That is amazing.
It's amazing. Let me read off this to you. And I did this during the live earlier. So
Sure.
if you caught my live earlier, you would have heard me say this. These are his last 30 opponents. You ready? Ugas, Keith Thurman, Adrian Broner, Lucas Matisse, Jeff Horn, Timothy Bradley, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Chris Algieri, Timothy Bradley again, Brandon Rios, Juan Manuel Marquez, Timothy Bradley again, Juan Manuel Marquez again, Shane Mosley, Antonio Margarito, Josh Clottey, Miguel Cotto, Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, David Diaz, Juan Manuel Marquez again, Marco Antonio Barrera, Jorge Solis, Eric Morales, Oscar Larios, Eric Morales again, Pirang and Juan Manuel Marquez again, and Marco Antonio Barrera again. Who has a run like that in modern boxing? Who comes close? And that's why when I say he's the greatest fighter of this generation, some of the Mayweather people say, well, he lost to Mayweather. Mayweather never lost a fight. I haven't seen anybody in modern boxing go through a run like that. That's an incredible
It's
run.
also important to note that Mayweather is a naturally bigger man, right?
Right.
He started his career at 130 pounds, and Pacquiao started his at 106.
Yeah.
So look, like I get it, but like, do you rate? You know, it's debatable, but who do you rate above who? Duran or Hearns?
Mm-hmm.
Hearns knocked out Duran in the second round, right?
Yeah.
Like I believe. So like, does it automatically mean he's going to rate above Duran no matter what? No, that's not how it works. Like, of course, head to head, he beat him, but okay, cool. He beat him head to head. You know, whoever beat Bernard Hopkins in his debut fight, he beat him head to head too. But do you rate that dude above Hopkins?
Right.
So I don't know, man. Like, look, Marquez knocked Pacquiao out, but I don't rate Marquez above Pacquiao.
No. And that's a legendary fighter.
He's a great fighter, but he doesn't head to head beat him in the fourth fight. But does he have a like? I mean, look, Marquez couldn't do a lot of things Pacquiao did. You know, I can't really see Marquez fighting a lot of these welterweights because his style and his size didn't allow it. But look at what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Pacquiao fighting at welterweight is equivalent to Mayweather Jr. fighting at middleweight. Mayweather never fought at middleweight. No. So I'm just letting you guys know right now.
Yeah, it's a historically great run. Historically great run. And you put him up there with the historic great fighters with a run like that. You know, and another thing is he's showing us that Spence steps aside. He takes a fight with Spence at 42 and a half years old. Spence can't fight due to the eye, which is a legit eye injury, has to pull out. And he takes on Ugas on a week and a half notice, which he's a tough welterweight, dude. He's 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. He's a legitimate champion in the division, although he has Manny's belt. I should say that. But this is a tough guy. You saw it in the Sean Porter fight. You can argue he hasn't lost a fight in his last 10 or 11 fights. Because you
But
can
the
argue
fact
he
that
won that fight.
look, he could easily just say like, "Nah, I ain't gonna fight that." Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
But he don't want to waste his training camp and
Mm-hmm.
just think about it. That there's nothing. What is it to gain for Pacquiao by Ugas? But he's still doing it.
I guess to become only the third fighter to become, but I don't think he was focused on that coming in. I don't think that was a focus.
Well, whatever accolades are added. But at the end of the day, it's a hell of a fight to take short notice. I see why Ugas is doing it.
Oh yeah, it's
I don't
it's high
understand.
risk, high reward for him. For Manny, it's high risk, lower reward.
Low reward. He ain't gonna get no like.
The
People are
thing
gonna be
is,
calling Ugas trash after Pacquiao does what he does. So, my
right?
opinion.
If he beats Ugas easily, people are gonna be saying, "Oh, Ugas is overrated," much like they did against Clottey. But people forget Clottey was one of the most avoided fighters in the division, and Pacquiao just made him look normal. He made him look average in the ring, but Clottey was avoided.
I will say though, people saying, "Oh, well, he's a right-handed. If he fights on, as a counter puncher, he could get Pacquiao problems." Let me tell you something, man. He ain't the sharpshooter that a Marcus was, or even a Floyd for that matter.
Right.
He's not. He just isn't. He has a right hand, but it's not about just how it's not about that. It's about the ability to counter someone like Manny Pacquiao. It's not easy. It took Marcus 4 fights to try to get him like that. You know what I mean? So and Mayweather fought extremely cautious in that fight. So it's what it is.
Yeah, and let me tell you what Ugas in film study has going for him. He's a much taller fighter, longer fighter, which can become, we talk about this all the time, as not necessarily a reach advantage. It's a reach disparity. So if he uses it, it's an advantage. If it works against him and Manny gets on the inside, which we expect, it becomes a disadvantage.
Well, his arms aren't that long, though. He only has like 60-something inches.
Yeah, he's got about a 2-inch reach advantage on him. But here's the thing. He's got a strong jab that he can work behind. He does. And here's the other thing. I hear people out there saying that he's a Cuban fighter. Will he stink it out like Rigondeaux did this past Saturday? I don't think so. If you watch Ugas fight, he has a different mentality than Rigo. And we've seen Rigo unleash on people, right? We've seen that, but he does it when it's safe. Ugas is not the same. He unleashed a couple of times against Porter. He opened up. He opens up and counters and gets into combination fighting with guys, combination punching fighting with guys. The other thing is, for a taller fighter, he's a good inside fighter. He'll keep his hands free and fight on the inside, and I think that's going to be his detriment in this fight. He's going to keep his hands free. Pacquiao's going to get on the inside. We talked about this, right? Orthodox versus southpaw. Manny's going to get his front foot on the outside of Ugas's front foot and light him up with the left hands because he still has those angles. Unless he gets old overnight, which I'm not really expecting, he's going to have those angles, and he's going to rack up rounds against Ugas. I don't think it's going to be a knockout. However, I think he'll win comfortably on the scorecards, and he'll have a lot of moments.
No knockouts. If he knocks him out, hey, great. But I don't think he's gonna knock Ugas out. Ugas is a real durable dude. You know what I mean? And
right.
He's got pretty solid defense. And at the end of the day, look, I think it's gonna be a tough fight for Manny for the first few for a few I understand he landed the right hand every fight, but he didn't get the checkmate punch like he did in that 4th fight. But at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao, okay, is going to have his hands full. I would say for about the first 4 or 5 rounds against Ugas. But then I do think that at some point Manny will land a big left hand. Ugas will get a little bit tentative, and he's going to be, and Manny's going to separate himself, and probably be hitting at a guy with his shell on and stuff like that. But let me just say this. Let's not blame all Cubans for what Rigondeaux did, because what Rigondeaux did was some record-breaking shit that's never been done before. You know what I mean? Not even Rigo has done what he did last Saturday.
Right.
It's never been done in history. The numbers show it. Like, that doesn't lie. Okay? I never till last Saturday was the first time I saw him turn his back and run. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, Haplo, look, pick Ugas then. Tell me Ugas is going to win because Pacquiao, I have Pacquiao winning. So, like, are you going for Ugas? Have the balls and pick Ugas then. Not explain, but I want somebody to pick Ugas. Like, nobody wants to pick the dude. Can somebody pick him
I saw a
already
couple
instead
of
of
people.
pussyfooting, trying to like stop trying to like if he wins, I don't want you to come out and be, oh, I told you guys he's gonna get in trouble, possibly beat him. No. You have to say I have Ugas winning, or you get no credit if Ugas wins. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I'm seeing people cheering for Ugas, but I'm not seeing anybody pick Ugas, saying Ugas is going to win this fight.
You guys gonna let RunPMC out here? Go for Ugas and let him win another quiz? Is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna let him do that to you guys? You just every week after week, you guys let him RunPMC smack you guys in the mouth and beat you all the time.
Haplo picked him. There it is. We got him.
Well, you actually picked him. What the hell's going on over here?
You smoked him out, D-Style. You smoked him out. He picked him.
Oh shit! Well, hey, props to you.
That's right. No half stepping here. I think
no half stepping. Pick them or stop talking all the shit. Okay, stop talking shit about. Oh, I know. I think Ugas. Okay, then pick them. Then how about that?
We got another one. The GOAT Mario P is picking Ugas to stop Pacquiao.
Stop.
Now the poll is not reflecting that. The poll is heavy Pacquiao, about 85%, and more leaning to half of the people are leaning Pacquiao by stoppage. I don't agree with that. I'm in the 30-something percent. Percentile of people who think it's going to be a decision, because I think Ugas is durable. And Pacquiao 7 years ago, I think had a chance of stopping Ugas, and maybe he still does. But I think this is going decision. I think it's going to be like 9-3, maybe even 10-2 Pacquiao. Ugas will win some rounds early. I just don't think he's going to be active enough to keep up with Pacquiao. I don't think he'll have enough power to keep Pacquiao at bay and keep him honest. And Pacquiao is going to be able to use his angles and rack up points on the judges' scorecards. And I think he's going to run away with it.
Who can outdo Haplo who can outdo him? Who wants to pick Ugas by stoppage? Who wants to pick him by stop? Anybody out there have the balls?
There it is, right there.
What? You out of your mind, bro. What the hell's going on over here anyway?
So, yeah, I mean, I think this is going to decision, and I think it's going to turn into a sparring session type of performance for Pacquiao, I believe, in the middle rounds. Like you said, Pacquiao's going to land some punches that's going to get Ugas's attention, and then Ugas is going to go more into a shell, right, and become more economical as the fight goes on. And he's going to start racking up round after round after round. And if that happens, and I posed this question earlier, if you listen to Manny talk, he gave an interview with Sky Sports 2 days ago saying he wants to fight in the UK. So he's got plans for the future still. He's talking like a guy who wants to fight not only another time, but a couple more times. I think the reason he was aggravated with the WBA belt, and he talked about it again today, the reason he was aggravated about the WBA stripping him is I felt like he wanted to fight Spence, accumulate those belts, and then take on Terrence Crawford possibly for that last belt at 147 and become undisputed.
Makes sense.
So if you read between the lines, you hear him talk, he wants to fight a couple more times after this. And if he looks good against an Ugas, who is a guy you don't necessarily look good against on a week and a half notice, and you win a clear, comfortable decision or possibly even a knockout, he fights again. And let's say he loses a close decision to Ugas and it's entertaining, then there's a rematch there, right? So I think he'll fight again. I think he'll fight again after this.
I mean, he's saying possibly it could be his last fight. Last hurrah.
You think it is?
No, but I mean, look, I get that 42 is old for a boxer, but it is very, very young for a national politician, right?
Uh-huh.
So, like, I have no idea what the rush to become president of the Philippines is. Like well, what's the rush? Like, hold on, you know what I mean? You could become president at 50,
right?
But maybe he's eager to do it though. So maybe he's eager to become president of the Philippines.
I hope for our sake as boxing fans. I don't understand politics of other countries in the Philippines. I'm saying for our sake, boxing fans, I hope he pushes that off. And somebody told me the election is in April of 2022. I don't know if that's true or not. So I hope he gets another one in before then, but I'm sure he's got to run if he's running.
Yeah, you got to run, bro. You got to campaign. They have to annoy. Well, unless they do it different in other countries. In this country, they annoy the fuck out of you for 2 years straight.
Yeah, for 2 years plus.
You know what I mean? That's it. And you have to have fights at Thanksgiving dinners and oh, you're a Republican. I never want to talk to you ever again.
Right.
How dare you feel this way? Oh, you're a Democrat. Oh, well, fuck you. And you're this and you're that. And who'd you vote for? How dare you have voted for him? And all this other dumb shit. People can just mind their own fucking business. But
it might be the same over there. Who knows?
I don't know. It might be worse. I've seen these other countries. The politicians fight.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Like in Ukraine, those are duking it out, bro. Vitaly just sat there in the corner like.
Yeah, Vitaly's like this. Come on.
Nobody approached. But in fairness, let me tell you something. Who's going to start shit with Pacquiao in his chamber? I don't know what they call it over there, right?
Right.
The House of Representatives. Who's going to start shit with Pacquiao? Who's going to be like, oh, well, how dare you do that? I'm going to go up there and what are you going to do?
So you got stuff like this. Like if he's running, the Spence fight might never happen, right? And then Pacquiao might not fight again. I mean, can you fight again if you're president? Can you fight while you're president? I mean, can you go to Wildcard Gym?
You can do whatever you want. What do you mean?
Can you go to Wildcard Gym with Freddie Roach for 6 to 8 weeks?
Well, you know what, though? You got to think about it, though, in all seriousness. If you're the president of the country and you're knocked out unconscious, right?
Right.
Then you can't be a functional president. What if shit's going down while you're in the middle of the fight too?
Yeah.
And then you got to train. I don't know if anybody could do this. Probably Manny, but he would be the first ever president to be fighting.
Yeah, you're fighting Errol Spence Jr. and China's invading the Philippines all of a sudden, like something like that.
Yeah, yo, man, what are you doing? You know what I mean? He got knocked out.
I just want to see the guy fight. So whatever gets me that, I'm for.
I just think Manny, you know what I mean? Look, if he retires, he retires. But I do want to say 92 AKU. I feel what he's saying, right? He's saying he's worried for Manny. You know what I mean? Because he's 42 and he hasn't fought in 2 years, and
he's fine.
But what do you mean you're worried? What do you mean? You're you can't sleep at night because Manny Pacquiao's gonna have a fight on Saturday? What do you mean? The dude's okay, bro. Mm-hmm. It's what he wants to do. Let him do what he wants to do. This is his passion. And we've seen dudes older fight. So it's not like people are talking like this is for a welterweight, it is like uncharted territory, but it's not in boxing overall. Like Foreman was 44, 45 when he knocked out Moore. Hopkins was in his late 40s, still fighting, beating dudes. Look
at Donaire right now.
Donaire's 38. You know what I mean?
Which is the equivalent of 50 at bantamweight.
Ringendow's 48. You know what I mean? We're just everybody's just doing the thing. And look, Luis Ortiz was 50 when he fought, in the last fight. So,
yeah, the training has evolved. It really has. And guys, you see it in football too. Tom Brady plays well into he probably played till he's 50. Drew Brees played into his 40s.
Was Usain Bolt at the Olympics?
No, he wasn't.
What's the matter? How old is he?
He's got to be upper 30s at this point, right? Mid 30s.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know the resume of Rigondeaux, but he's got to give him a call. If Rigondeaux could run around like that at age in his 40s, there's no reason why Usain Bolt can't do it.
Yeah, Rigondeaux could have won the 100-meter dash at the Olympics for sure.
Running sideways too.
Running sideways.
Rigondeaux would dominate if they had kind of like the swimmers do. Like freestyle, backstroke, and they're like, oh, the best Olympian of all time, Phelps, because he has so many. Well, yeah, because they have a medal for everything. You know what I mean? If they had that in track and field, like sideways running, backwards running, freestyle running while dude is chasing you. Okay, running while he would win all types of running events. Gold medalist.
Yeah. I wonder how old that karate guy was that got knocked out and won the gold medal.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Like that's what we are. By the way, I don't care how fucked up boxing gets. We don't have any retarded rule like that.
No,
That I will say.
no, no. So
You're not gonna do it out. You're not gonna do it out and you lose. Like, what do you mean?
right.
So you're telling me Ricky Haddon would have won a karate fight against Manny Pacquiao? Is that what you're telling me right now? He would have won, bro.
he's still at it. He's still at it. He can't give Casimero credit. G Funky just can't give Casimero
There you
credit.
go. Hey, he's 48 years old, brother. No, but yeah.
Look, man, Casimero won the fight. It is what it is. He won the fight. He won the fight. He won the fight 12-0 on my scorecard, G Funky. 12-0. I didn't give a single round to Rigo. 12-0. All right. I don't care. 12-0. You don't win a round fighting that way at all.
Before we proceed, Calix, and look, I'm thinking of starting a movement, and I want an engagement rule in boxing. And I honestly do believe it would be better for the sport. And I don't see why anybody would be against it. Like, you're against making the dudes fight? Like, when it's fighting? So now I'm not even saying we would need it all the time, and I wouldn't want it used all the time. But it would have to be used in extreme cases.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, yo, you just did 3 laps around the ring, dude? Like, really? 3 laps?
You need to be put in timeout if you do that.
Like, laps shouldn't be like a term used in a fight. Like because it's like I get guys circle the ring, but you were doing laps around the ring. Like, what do you mean?
Right. No, I agree. Give us a shot clock or something. You got to throw a punch within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that. If it gets to that point, if a guy is clearly not looking to fight, you got to do something.
Is it fair to say that, first of all, turning your back on your opponent is illegal already? That's already a rule.
Uh-huh.
But, like, on that picture, bro, you can see, like I was looking for it. I was like, well, maybe Rigondeaux has like a sponsor, okay, like on the the heel. What do you call it? The exposed part on the outside of the shoe, like where you step. The
heel.
The heel, I guess. Yeah. Did he have a sponsor there? You could see his heels, bro. How the fuck am I looking? How can I see his heels? Like, what's going on over here? But yeah, like, yo, even though it was momentarily, like, no, you shouldn't do that. You can't turn your back. Like, you can't do that. And people are bringing up the Billy Joe Saunders fight against Lemieux.
Not even close.
It's not even close. And they did the still shots of him blading his body, walking one direction, looking at Lemieux. It's not the same thing. At least give me the same thing. And not only that, Calix. So what? Just because Billy Joe did it, it's okay for Rigondeaux to do it? Is that your argument?
Right.
I saw people saying like, well, if y'all admit that Billy Joe did it, then they all admit Rigondeaux did. Okay, fine. Billy Joe did it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all it takes? That's all I have to do? Fuck Billy Joe. Okay, cool. All right, there. You have it. Billy Joe did it too. All right? Even though no, because that fight didn't break records. like there was far more engagement in that fight. I'll tell you that right now.
It broke the record, the CompuBox record. Incredible.
It was a record-breaking fight. Least amount of punches landed.
Yeah.
Same.
So just for the record, you got Pacquiao by decision as well? Clear, comfortable decision?
I have Pacquiao with a 9-3, 8-4-ish type decision.
I agree. I mean, I think my breakdown, and I'll drop my prediction video tomorrow on the channel. My prediction is pretty much, I think it'll mirror yours. Ugas will have some moments earlier. He's got some things going for him, right? Good jab, good right hand. He can use his length at points early in the fight. He will. And he can fight on the inside as well. But over time, each round, that's going to become a detriment to him. Right? He's going to start throwing that jab, leaving it out there. Pacquiao's going to start timing it, step on the outside, start landing the left hands. And as the pace starts going. As Pacquiao gets in that groove that he gets into, right? Where he's becoming a pattern fighter that it's tough to pick up unless you're a Juan Manuel Marquez or a Floyd Mayweather. His patterns are tough to pick up, all right? It's the reason that people don't do it. But he gets it going, lets his hands go. He'll find his angles, and the inside fighting will end up being a detriment to Ugas as he keeps his hands free, and Pacquiao is going to land a lot of shots on the inside. And as time goes on throughout the fight, Ugas is going to become a little more hesitant to trade with Pacquiao. And that's when Pacquiao is going to start to rack up round after round after round and win comfortably on the cards. I mirror yours. I think it's going to be 9-3, maybe even 10-2. So hopefully they give Pacquiao a rightful decision. If it is something like that, we don't have any controversy.
There should be a rule that if a fighter turns his back and runs, even if it's 2-3 seconds, like you get a warning immediately. No, because you can't turn your back to your opponent.
Yeah.
Like isn't that reasonable? Like if you turn around and your knees are high, that's it. Point taken.
It's hit and don't get hit. It's not hit. It's not don't get hit and run.
That's not, and it's not tag you're it. I'm gonna run for the next 2.5 minutes now. Like that's not that either, bro.
He was just okay. You miss. I'm gone.
You remember the round where he landed like a really good left hand, like really early, and then he just ran the rest of the fight. Like he was like, okay, it's 1-0 on the scoreboard. Meet. He just ran around the ring and Casimero didn't hit him, and I even said it like, well, I guess I got to give Rigo this round, like he's the only one that landed a punch.
Yeah. I'm with you. So we both got Pacquiao.
I agree that it's a rule if you turn your back, but they don't, for some reason, if you're running while you do it, for some reason it's okay. No, that they call it defense then. They call it elusive.
Yeah. They call it losing.
It's just like clinching, right? What do they call clinching? Oh, you neutralized them. Like what? You guys can word it however you want. Like it still is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. And G-Funky's not going to hold that L. He's just not.
Well, look. I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it was a pretty much impossible fight to score. So it's not impossible for somebody to have it one way or the other. And in fairness, he's also saying that he wasn't happy with the Rigondeaux did. It's just that he's two-siding it. You know what I mean? That's and I personally don't feel that way, but
fair enough. That's enough Rigondeaux talk at the end of the day. But
you want to run from the talk. That's what it is.
But he scored the fight, and a lot of smart people did. I mean, Farhood did. Beeb was scoring it live for us, and he had it a draw. I just gave up after 6 rounds. To be honest, I just couldn't. I couldn't.
It's people subconsciously scored it a draw because they hated the fight.
Yeah, possibly so. So we both got Pacquiao by decision, 9-3, 10-2-ish. And we're gonna go into boxing trivia now.
Let's do this.
RunPMC. Let us know if you're in the building. He is defending his Power Punchers Boxing Trivia Diamond Belt. All right. He's won it 4 straight times. So I promised if he wins it 10 straight times, I am mailing him a real belt. Like not just one of those $20 trinkets you get off of eBay, like a $200 belt. I will mail to, I'll send off to RunPMC. He can take his nice picture with it. And we're going to reward him with a, we can call it something like the legendary belt, whatever they give to like what the WBC give Mayweather that one time.
And by the way, make sure you guys are live.
Yes.
Make sure you're live. We have people answering the question like 10 minutes later. I'm like.
And there's our guy. There's our champion, RunPMC. So somebody throw him tonight. Nando, you're in there.
Hey, RunPMC. Yeah, you're RunPMC. Make sure you reset your router really quick. Right now. Okay, go ahead, Alex.
Sorry. Restart your computer real quick, RunPMC.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? Don't ask any questions. Just go do it.
So this is the 6th boxing trivia. So we'll see if RunPMC. Nando Yamas won the first, and then RunPMC ran off 4 straight. So here we go. I got the first 5 questions. You got the Jeopardy music, or you want me to play it?
I'm gonna have to play it. My phone's pretty much done.
All right, let me pull up the Jeopardy music real quick. Let me pull up that Jeopardy music. Bear with me real quick.
Hey, well, Calix gets that. Make sure, man, put a boxing glove in the chat. Make sure. I want to see how live you guys are, if you're live or not. You know, if I see a boxing glove 10 minutes later, I'll know you're not live. You know what I mean?
And by the way, let me end this poll too. 52% Pacquiao by stoppage. We got 67 votes.
There we go. Yeah,
and then 36% by decision. They agree with us, and 12% for Ugas by upset. So
to check it out, man. They're putting the boxing gloves. RunPMC, Nando Llamas, A-Rod. It looks like A-Rod. Are you sure you're live, brother? I'm just letting you know. You look a couple seconds delayed. You know, I'm just saying.
All right, here we go. First question. This middleweight champion of 1939, Severino Garcia, is popularly known for inventing what type of punch? Go. He invented what punch? Filipino. We're going with the Filipino, heavy Filipino. There it is. Who we got? Is that RunPMC? It is. Bolo. He barely beats Haplo. Barely beats Haplo. And confirm that's what you got on your end too, D-Stock.
I have RunPMC first.
All right.
So right now, and then you guys know right now that make sure you are live. Okay, I'm just saying, make sure you're live. RunPMC. Wait a minute, you didn't restart your computer? What happened?
All right. This Filipino fighter, this is question 2, by the way. This Filipino fighter is considered by many to be one of the best technical fighters from the Philippines. He retired in October 2010 and was never knocked down in his career. Name that fighter. Retired in October 2010, was never knocked down. Filipino great. Oh, he got it again. He got it again. All right. This was a good guess. This was a good guess. But Jerry Penalosa was the
Somebody
answer.
said Bobby.
This is not, by the way, this is not the correct answer right here. It's not Bobby Pacquiao.
Shout out to Bobby Pacquiao, though. Did you ever turn on TV and mistake him for Manny, though?
Yeah.
It happened one time to me. I was like, man, Manny's he's looking good, but he's missing a little bit of speed or something, you know? And then wait a minute, Bobby, well, who the hell's Bobby Pacquiao? That's his brother. What? All right. His brother's pretty good, though. He wasn't as good as Manny, obviously, but.
Let me tell you something. I do not think RunPMC could be stopped. We got 4 more questions, so everybody's still in it. We got 6 questions.
Unbelievable.
All right, we got another Filipino question. All right. Filipino fighter Dodi Boy Penalosa, who is the brother of Jerry Penalosa, became a light flyweight and flyweight champion despite what physical defect? What physical defect did he have? Dodi Boy Penalosa. What was his physical defect? I don't see anybody yet. Haplo. Oh, is that Haplo? No, it's not. Let's see. Who got it first?
Laponiel Palar.
Let's see. There it is. Lobonel. I'm going to butcher this name. Lobonel Palar. All right. I'm going to just call you LP. LP got it before everybody else. He barely beat Haplo to the punch. Haplo's close. He's close. Very close. All right.
Make sure you guys are live. Make sure you're live.
LP got it. So it's 2-1. RunPMC. He might have met his match here. All right. We're going to go to the 4th question. 4th question.
Some of you need to answer this one to be in the mix, by the way, so that you guys know.
That's right. Who became Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year in 2002? And this is an easier question, guys. Easier question. by defeating Shane Mosley twice? Go.
Oh, come on.
Get it quick. Get it quick.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Did he get it?
Run
PMC again. Vernon Forrest. He barely beats the GOAT Mario P. So Run PMC's at 3. I don't think we can slow this guy down, D-Style. I'm going to go with question number 5 here right away. Name the fighter who lost in the championship of the Contender Season 2 and would later go on to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Lost the championship Contender Season 2 and would go on to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Name that fighter. Any Contender fans out there? There it is. Run PMC again. Goodness gracious. The man's unstoppable.
He already won, by the way.
Where is it? 2 Pound Forbes. There it is. He already won. So we're going to do this final question just for fun. Because Run PMC's unbeatable. Dude, I already know I'm just going to order the belt now.
He's not unbeatable. He's not unbeatable.
I don't know. I got to show it. Now you got the 6th question, your connection. Now explain how it goes one more time for the audience.
So we want to connect 2 fighters together by fights that actually happened. This is not including, by the way, exhibitions. Exhibitions don't count. They have to be actual sanctioned fights. Okay. So that's how you connect them. So to give you a quick example, right? Like, for example, if you want to connect, like we all know, right, that Marquez and Morales never fought. You know what I mean? But you could do a quick connection because Marquez fought Pacquiao, Pacquiao fought Morales, right? So that's like a quick, short one. You know, like another one, like De La Hoya and Vernon Forrest never fought each other. Mm-hmm. But if you want to connect them, you connect them like you go De La Hoya, Mayorga, De La Hoya, or you know, Forrest, Mayorga, De La Hoya. You can go Forrest, Mosley, De La Hoya, so on and so forth, right? You could do a longer one. You go Forrest, Mora, Mosley, Canelo, Floyd, De La Hoya. Like you know, that's another way you can connect them. Even though I did it extra long on purpose. So we're gonna start with one fighter who will be fighting this weekend was Manny Pacquiao, right? We're going to connect him with the great Jack Johnson.
Wow.
So you're going to start with somebody Manny fought, somebody they fought, somebody they fought, somebody they fought, somebody they fought, until you get to somebody that fought Jack Johnson.
That's long lineage there.
And
all right, we're going to give him 3 minutes, right? Is it 2 or 3?
Yeah, give him 3 minutes. You know, give him 3 minutes.
All right, ready? Go. Manny Pacquiao to Jack Johnson. Connect them.
Manny Pacquiao to Jack Johnson. I will not recommend posting just random shit on there because you're going to help people out. Like, you're going to give them the first 5, right?
And by the way, I don't think I can connect it.
You can't Google this, by the way. So Google's not your friend. You can't ask Alexa or anybody like that. You can't do it. You just can't do it. We're gonna have to come up with some questions people can't Google.
Right.
Just letting you know. Oh, RunPMC is already sweating right now. What? You're gonna what?
Yeah, he's getting after it. He's writing down in his notebook before he posts. 2 minutes left.
Once again, Manny Pacquiao to Jack Johnson. You get there by Manny Pacquiao fought Morales or whoever Pacquiao fought. That person fought somebody. The next person fought somebody else. The next person after that fought somebody else. You eventually get to someone who fought Jack Johnson.
Pacquiao fought De La Hoya, who fought Hopkins, who fought minute and a half.
If nobody gets it in a minute and a half, the official champion of this game, which is me, because I invented it. We'll let you guys know.
We're not going to reward RunPMC.
This is a negative 4 points for RunPMC if he doesn't get it. Then the other dude wins. Who's ready to hear this one, by the way? Because I don't think anybody's going to get it.
I think I'm getting close.
We should probably let Calix have a crack at it after this.
A minute left. He said that's like 100 years.
I'll give you a clue. I mean, once a heavyweight, once a current welterweight, try to get a heavyweight. Do that first.
You got to get to a heavyweight.
Get the heavyweight and then time travel. Don't time travel right now.
And getting to heavyweight is easier than people think.
It is.
Putting that out there. Because I figured out that much. $20 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Let me take a stab and see how far I can. Wait, did RunPMC get it in? Let's see. Okay, Floyd to Oscar to Trinidad to Roy Jones Jr. to John Ruiz to Holyfield. That's where I was. Then he went to Foreman to Ali to Moore, but he stopped. Did that get us all the way to Jack Johnson?
No.
No, so that's not going to be. That's not going to cut it.
Give it a shot, Alex. Give it a shot.
So what do you have?
I mean, I have the answer, but what do you have? Give it a shot.
Let me see. Hold on. He had Pac versus May, Canelo, Cotto, Martinez, Pavlik, Taylor. All right, never mind. So as far as I got was, I went from Pacquiao to De La Hoya to Hopkins to Roy Jones Jr. to John Ruiz. And that's where I was. We can go to Holyfield from there, right? And then from Holyfield to
Tyson. Haplotype is he's at Archie Moore, Joe Louis. And I don't know where he's going to go from there, but we'll find out. So in this game, you always have to find what I like to call a bridge. And that you usually find a bridge with legendary fighters that fought in different eras.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
where
Haplo went to Schmeling. I don't know if he's just traveling backwards on purpose, but we'll find out where he goes.
So let's get us to about the 50s. Where are you at?
Well, Haplo's on it. He's Schmeling Bear. He's on it right now in chat.
Okay.
He's actually going a way different route than me, but all right. We'll find out who's shorter.
So he's got Schmeling to Bear.
Bear to Carnera.
Uh-huh.
Man, he went a little too extra. Carnera to Sharkey. Yeah, he went a whole, he could have just, well, I'll say it right now.
It's not that easy, though. It's really not.
Well.
To cut through. Jake Paul and Nate Robertson. All right, what you got? We gave him enough time.
Haplo, come on, brother. You got to hurry up, brother. Okay. All right, so first, Manny Pacquiao. Obviously, lower weight class. We got to get this dude to heavyweight. That's the first thing we got to do. Uh-huh. So I went from Pacquiao fought De La Hoya fought Trinidad. Trinidad fought Roy Jones Jr. Right, you went the Hopkins route, which is another way. You could do that as well. Okay. From Roy Jones Jr., he fought John Ruiz. Okay. John Ruiz fought Evander Holyfield.
Who fought?
Legendary fighter. Who fought another legendary fighter, Foreman.
Uh-huh.
Foreman's the bridge. From Foreman, you go to Muhammad Ali, who fought Archie Moore. Archie Moore fought Joe Louis. Uh-huh. Joe Louis fought Jack Sharkey. Jack Sharkey actually beat Jack Sharkey lost to Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey beat Jess Willard. Willard fought Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
He was a great white hope. Defeated Jack Johnson.
You got to it quicker than me because I was going to Tyson. I should have just went Holyfield to Foreman, and Foreman gets you to all the way to the 60s. He gets you all the way back there.
Yeah, so basically, just like that. Although Haplo got to Sharkey, from Sharkey you would have to go to Dempsey.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So RunPMC is, for the 5th straight week, Power Punchers Boxing Trivia Diamond Belt champion. He looks unstoppable right now. 5 more weeks of this, and he's getting the belt. He's getting the legacy belt. 5 more weeks of this. Incredible. Another incredible performance. And I thought he was going to get that. I thought he was coming close.
Jack Johnson was the heavyweight champion of the world in like 1910, 1915. I forget the actual year, right? When he became heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
Pacquiao's an active fighter today. They're separated by 15 fighters.
That's the tradition of boxing, right? That no other sport has. It can take you all the way back, separated by, 10, 12 fighters?
Yeah, this is why we don't use triangle theory in boxing. You know, this guy beat that guy, so if he beat him, that means he would have beat him. Because, just because Pacquiao beat De La Hoya doesn't mean that somehow that means he would have beat Jack Johnson, right?
Right.
So it's just kind of like a weird thing there, but there you go.
All right, give us your final round knockout. Go.
Wow. Let me say this. The beautiful thing about boxing is that it you know that saying, one man's trash could be another man's treasure.
Mm-hmm.
That was we saw that in full display on Saturday night when Guillermo Rigondeaux was running around the damn ring. Okay. And some people called it they're acting like he put on an amazing performance, right? Yet me, I'm over here what the fuck? Don't you want to see a fight? Well, the bees don't spend time telling flies or explaining to the fly why honey is better than shit.
Right.
Okay? So, hey, you love this shit? Cool. I don't like shit. Right? I want to see fights. I don't want to see dudes running around the ring.
That's right. Hard facts.
No negative.
Right, hard facts. Great point. My last point, my final knockout is Victor Ortiz versus Robert Guerrero was on this undercard. Everybody's talking about how bad of an undercard Pacquiao versus Ugas is, and fair enough, but I'm interested in that fight. I'm intrigued by that fight. I know it's random. I know it's years past both guys' primes, but you got to remember, when Victor Ortiz is involved in anything, it's entertaining. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's singing, rapping, acting, anything. It's going to be entertaining because there's going to be the Victor Ortiz element, right? There's always, him getting knocked out by a sucker punch or him losing by knockout and getting stuff thrown at him as he leaves the Home Depot Center in Los Angeles. There's always something involved with Victor Ortiz, and the guy is in fun fights. And Robert Guerrero's been in some fun fights. So as late as this is in the game, both guys well past their prime. I know everybody was laughing at this at the time, but give me entertainment at the end of the day. No belts involved, no great fighters involved, but it's a good matchup, right? It should be fun, at least. Okay? So I'll be buying the pay-per-view regardless because Pacquiao's involved in it and he's on the main event. But this gives me a little extra. All right? So I'll be live for this fight as well because I know some fun stuff is going to be awaiting me when it comes to Victor Ortiz. So that's what I got. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. As always, you can catch it in the archives, on the playlist, on the channel. Check out the roundtable is tomorrow night. Check out everything on the HCP network and check us out on iTunes as well. So we are out. And make sure to subscribe to D-Style Boxing as always as well. So we're out. Y'all have a good night. God bless. Peace.